It's Sunday night. It's 8 o'clock, back to our regular time. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto. With me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght back in Moose Jaw. Shawn, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
And I got Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Excellent. Still in glowing mode, guys. Still in glowing mode. It's a great day. You know, only us can we wait 2 weeks for a parade that's going to be over at track. So I'll take it. You know, it's there. You know, that's it. If you're anywhere in the area, Sunday, May 31st from 1 to 4, put your butt over into track and we can go take a look at the cup together. Yes, we can. It's done all kinds of things. It's been over at Nick Rose's dad's grave. It's been over at the Tony Rose Arena. It's been around doing gardening and other things with other people, and it's been everywhere. So now it's going to go over to track, which should be a whole lot of fun. Seen a lot of lacrosse this week, kind of like me. Seen a lot of lacrosse this week. But just before we get into all of that, just a reminder to everybody that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, live across Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, also on Spotify. Remember, hit the subscribe, follow, and like button. Share. Please enjoy all of our affiliates across the Streampunk Entertainment Network, which include Fly Like an Eagle, soccer, CFL shows, especially now that CFL is about to start. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the shows on YouTube, which says Streampunk Cinema, Streampunk Combat. Of course, all across all the time, which you'll find retro games, interviews, library of shows, and so much more. Please hit the subscribe button there. Please tell all your friends. Please tell people you don't even know to go and subscribe. We're really trying to build this thing up again, guys. If you remember to stay up to date with all sports by visiting Streampunk Entertainment at streampunkentertainment.com with great articles from our youth staff and contributors. Reminder also that the show is brought to you by 60. 60 is more than just a number. It is Canada's newest and most exciting sports uniform and teamwear brand, delivering top quality uniforms and teamwear that reflects the spirit and identity of each team. Their commitment to innovation and excellence sets them apart, ensuring that every customer experiences the perfect blend of style and functionality. Unleash your greatness with 60. Remember, add Lax Talk 10 to any one of your orders for a 10% discount. How do you get there? Simple. First off, go to the QR code, which is in the center of your screen. Next, you can try it at Instagram at sweet_60. You can go over to email them at info.sweet60@gmail.com or go directly to their website at www.sweet60.ca/60. All right. I had the pleasure and privilege to be at the Gales 80th anniversary gala yesterday, their alumni game, and all the other things, as well as their Junior B game against Akwesasne, which wasn't as good as it should have been because Akwesasne, let's see, they were 12 wins, no losses, 2 ties going in. Now they're 13 wins, no losses, and 2 ties coming out. They won big, but that doesn't matter. It was a who's who of former Gales there, and it was my honor to be in the picture, being now part of the alumni, and just a look see at who was in the picture. You had Larry Lloyd, Chuck Lee, Neil Armstrong, Derek Keenan, Joe Krasnaz, Guy Morey, Mike Lewis, Dalton Lundy, and a whole lot more. And it was just so great to see everybody and watching them all look at some of the old programs and other things that went along with the gig. It was fun, and having the opening ceremony where Neil Armstrong took the opening face-off, and then I got to sing the anthem. I had the honor and the privilege of doing that. It was a great evening had by all, even though it took an arc to get out there. Man, was it terrible weather here yesterday. It was gale force winds, a ton of rain, and we still had a decent crowd of people braving all that to come out and see the alumni and celebrate 80 years of Gale history. So thank goodness, and thank everybody for coming out. And really was put together well. Town Brewery had nice sandwiches and good beverages and everything else that went along with it, plus a lot of excellent merch. I added a nice golf shirt to my detail. Love it. So Just a bunch of really great things going on, and looking forward to the next 80 years of Gales. And we're already, Louis and I were already talking. We're already putting together the team for Prague. The Gales are going back to Prague next year. So,
awesome.
More good news. And if you were watching the show on Thursday, I had Miles General on, and we're talking a lot about native stuff and the seven sticks and guys who have made mistakes and come back. I hadn't realized that Austin Stotts had a lot to do with the forming of Seven Sticks and rehabilitation and things like that, and working towards helping himself and helping others get out of the holes that they have created for themselves. And a really great organization. Please, if you have a chance, it's a great episode, and we tackled a number of issues. We still have a number of issues still to go to, so there will be a part 2 in the next coming weeks, but we just haven't booked it yet. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of really heavy topics. Miles was also asked to put together a team to bring over the Robeski tournament, so this could be interesting. This could be very interesting, especially if he uses a number of the guys who are, looking to get a second chance in life and really deserve it. If you've paid your dues, you've paid your dues. That goes for everybody. So let's move forward on all of that. Just a reminder, Eduardo's with us from St. Augustine today. And,
Hey, Eduardo.
Hey,
thank you
Eduardo.
very much, Eduardo. I appreciate that. I have been walking on air all week. And I'm hoping to do it for another week so that we continue along with the big celebration next week at track. Hopefully we'll have some great photos and things like that. So, but a couple of trades to tell you about. And these are interesting little trades. First one was between Peterborough and Oakville, in which Adam J. is now on the Peterborough Lakers. Actually made an immediate impact this week. We'll get to that in a little bit. And to the Oakville Rock, a 2029 second-round draft pick. Now, the other one that was this week, the same day, is a little bit of a head-scratcher in my opinion. Over to Brampton goes Jake McNabb, but over to Owen Sound goes a 2028 fifth-round draft pick. I would assume that you can get a lot more than fifth-round draft pick for Jake McNabb, so I'm curious about all of that. But needless to say, they both made immediate impacts in their games. Fortunately, Brampton didn't win, but McNabb was a definite plus in there. So, alrighty. Just a reminder also, next Saturday in Peterborough is the Lacrosse Day for our champions. A full day of activities starting at 9 a.m. with members of Lacrosse Peterborough. 4:30 is the Legends of Lacrosse game. Inside, of course, the Memorial Center. Admission is free. Donations are very much appreciated. The big one for me is, of course, at 7 p.m. at Legends, which are at Sticks across the street from Memorial Center, is Storytime by the Legends. And really, when you take a look at the list of who is going to be there as Legends, it's a who's who of yesteryear lacrosse. And talking to a number of these guys over the years and just picking up the phone and chatting, it really is a wonderful time just to sit there and listen to stories of yesteryear and regale in the funny stories and some of the tribulations. And remember, the reason why it's so easy now for guys to be in the sport is because the road that these guys paved, where it was not nearly as easy to get on a team and to get to where the teams are and to get to where you had to be, and all the other little loopholes and things you had to jump over to get to things. So to listen to what they have to say and to have it as an evening where you just gotta sit back, have a few drinks and some good food, because the place is great food and really great ambiance. And if you really want to take a look at memorabilia, they have a ton of Lakers memorabilia. They have a ton of Canada memorabilia. They have a ton of old NLL memorabilia. And, of course, they have stuff from the Peterborough Petes as well as Maple Leafs and things like that. So lots of different things to see inside that little tiny bar. But it is such a great place. I love going there for pregame before Lakers games. It's just such a great who's who just across the street from Memorial Center. So if you have an opportunity to get there, please get there and say hi when you're there. I'll be the guy in the corner. But also one last little bit of business here, and that is June 5th over in Scarborough at the Variety Village, 3701 Danforth, is the Para Lacrosse launch day. Everyone is welcome to register and attend. Please, if you are not doing things, please come by, support, and let's see how this all works out. Lacrosse Canada's put a lot of effort into this, and I'd really like to see this through. And I'm going to hope to make it myself because it is such a tremendous cause that we need to put our efforts behind this. All right. Let's move over to some NCAA, Mike, because this is the big weekend, isn't it?
Indeed it is. We already have several champions crowned. Men's Division III, Tufts University beat RIT 17-11 to win the title. They finished the season 21 wins and 1 loss.
Wow.
Moving up to Division II, University of Tampa. Andrew Q is an alum, just FYI. They beat Adelphi 12-11 to win the Division II title. Then moving up to Division I, we have a final playing tomorrow between Princeton and Notre Dame. Princeton won their semifinal over Duke 14-7, and Notre Dame beat Syracuse in the other semifinal 15-7. And lastly, over on the women's Division I side, Northwestern University beat University of North Carolina 14-11 to claim their 9th overall NCAA championship.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. All right. Let's put it on the line, guys. Who you got? Mike?
Oh boy. I'm gonna go Princeton.
That's my boy. Shawn?
Yeah, maybe I'll go the opposite. I'll go Notre Dame.
The deciding vote is to me, eh? Rudy. Wrong sport. But I am going Notre Dame.
I'm pretty sure Pat is too. So
yeah, I saw
it. I think this is their 3rd Final Four appearance in the last 4 years. So,
and this is the closest of anything Philadelphia to make anything, right? Sorry, Pat. Sorry, not sorry. Shot for a bit. Anyways, alrighty. Let's go with a bit of Ontario Junior, and I'm gonna head over to some Western stuff after that. But we're well into it now, and we took a look last week at the Kitchener thing, right? And how crazy that is, right? But they win. They win. Why don't we start off on Monday, where the Six Nation Arrows beat the Burlington Blaze? I happened to be at that game. It was a heck of a game, and it came down to the very end. And Grayson Sky scored with about 6.5 minutes left. And that was your eventual game winner, even though Hayden Hiltz made it really close. But Six Nations was able to withstand at 9-8. Over on Tuesday, another close one, Whitby and Mimico over at the Iroquois, and it was 11-10 for Whitby. Talk about parity, guys. It could be an interesting year. The Oakville Buzz and the Kitchener Kodiaks. Now, we talked so much about Kitchener, and, well, Kitchener did win, but you would expect them to be kicking teams all over the place with all that firepower. 14-10. Not kicking. St. Catharines, however, is still working with what they were doing last year. They faced the Elora Hawks. They won 15-7. A big second period is what got that. 9 goals in the second. And that put this game on ice. We move over to Thursday, and Peterborough faced the Toronto Beaches. Now, nobody expects anything from the Beaches this year. They're in a rebuild, but Peterborough comes away with a 9-7 victory, and Toronto, even though they were down 9-4 after 2, really put it forward in the third, scoring 3 times. And, look out. They may actually surprise some people. I actually was talking with Dawson Nelson about it, and I had mentioned I don't think they belong in such low rankings. I just, the lineage there is just too much. So let's take a look and see as the season goes along. We're talking about tight games. Kitchener and Orangeville faced each other on Friday, and it was 7-6 for Kitchener over Orangeville, and it took a 4-goal third for Kitchener to overtake the Northmen. You had Brampton, who I had mentioned to people also. They've been in the lower echelon of the league the last couple of years in rebuilds. But I figured that this year was a year that they were going to start moving upward. Well, they beat the Six Nation Arrows 14-10, and that's in spite of having a not-so-great third period. They were up 12-6 after 2, and really a second period of 9 goals to jettison them into the victory here. Elora and Peterborough faced each other also on Friday. Peterborough came away with a 13-11 win. But, Elora, for their first year in the league, I really like the gumption that they're showing. And I think that they're going to give a lot of teams fits. And Devin Lampron, he is going to be something special for them. So look out. I think he had 4 goals in this game. He is making himself known across the OGLL pretty quickly. On Saturday, the Brampton Excelsiors went over and faced the Whitby Warriors, and they lost 8-7. So if that's a litmus test, they're doing pretty well. Beat a good team and lost by a goal to a really good team. So look out. I think Brampton is on its way up this year. The Mimico Mountaineers faced the Toronto Beaches. They held Toronto to very little. They beat them 8-4. Now, in Toronto's favor is they held a powerhouse like Mimico to only 8 goals. So again, I have a lot of faith in the Beaches squad. I don't think that they're going to be, breathing down anybody's neck for a championship, but I don't think that they belong in that lower 5 that everybody keeps talking about. So we'll see how that all plays out. A couple of games today, and that was Six Nations beat Kitchener 7-6. They're beating Kitchener 7-6. We're still moving in this game. It is in the third period. But stick with us. We should have final scores for you by the time we're done. Also, we had the Mimico Mountaineers and Elora Hawks, and it is 8-7 also in 2. So 2 very, very close games going on as we speak. Again, the parity is outstanding. If I look at the standings, you'll see that Peterborough in the East is leading with a 3-0 record. Whitby 2-0. Orangeville 1-1. Mimico 1-1. Brampton 1-2. Beaches 0-2, but really much, much closer than it seems. In the West, St. Catharines is 4-0. Kitchener is 2-0. Six Nations 1-1. Oakville 0-1. Burlington 0-3. Elora 0-4. So even though these teams are 0, they're losing by a goal. So we're talking about the any given Sunday idea. Is do not rest on when you see these teams in the schedule, because they're going to come and bite you if you do. Alrighty, Shawn, take us over to the West, please.
All right, ton of scores out here in the West. I guess we'll start here in Saskatchewan with the Junior B in the Prairie Gold Lacrosse League. On Friday, really strong Swift Current team. They defeated the Weyburn Razorbacks 25-2. Heading into Saturday, at least a closer game, Prince Albert defeated the Moose Jaw Mustangs 15-13. And then on Sunday again, Swift Current took on Weyburn and came away with a 21-3 win. So looking at the standings in the Junior B, Swift Current is leading right now with a 6-3 record, followed by the newest team in the league, the Winnipeg Blizzards, at 4-2. The Prince Albert Predators are 3-1. Moose Jaw Mustangs are 3-3. While Weyburn Razorbacks are still looking for their first win at 0-7. Then into the Senior B, they started on Thursday. Saskatoon Brewers are still undefeated. They beat the Saskatoon SWAT 18-5. And we saw our first action with Standing Buffalo Fighting Sioux on Saturday. They defeated the Moose Jaw Mafia 20-6. A few names you might recognize. Austin Shanks had 4 goals and 5 assists. Mike Messenger, 3 goals and an assist. Jake Boudreau, 3 goals and an assist for Standing Buffalo in that game. Then on Sunday, this afternoon actually, we have at least one final. Standing Buffalo defeated the Regina Heat 12-1. Again, Austin Shanks, 3 goals, 6 assists. Jake Boudreau, 3 goals and an assist. So a stacked team in Standing Buffalo, as we kind of expected. So looking at those standings, Saskatoon Brewers, probably not a big surprise. They have a really great program out there at 6-0. Standing Buffalo are 2-0. Regina Heat are 2-2. Winnipeg Blizzard, excuse me, has 1 win and 2 losses. Prince Albert is 0-2. The Saskatoon SWAT are 0-2. And the Moose Jaw Mafia are 0-3. Then heading to Junior A action in Alberta. You may have to bear with me a little bit here. They actually started last weekend, so I'll start there with last Friday. The Okotoks Raiders defeated the Saskatchewan SWAT 9-7. The Edmonton Miners beat the Calgary Mounties 9-5 on last Saturday. Also last Saturday, the Raiders defeated SWAT 13-10. And then on last Sunday, we saw the Raiders defeat the SWAT 12-9. And also last Sunday, the Mounties defeated the Miners 10-8. So heading into this weekend, on Friday, it's just saying box score, so I'm not sure if it's actually a final or not. The Winnipeg Blizzards, a new Junior A team to the league, so that's kind of exciting. Defeated the Saskatchewan SWAT 8-5. We do have a final from Saturday. The Mounties defeated the Miners 12-5, and again, also on Saturday, it just says box, so I don't know if it's a final. It says that the SWAT were ahead 10-8 over the Blizzards. 2 games today, the SWAT and the Blizzards, and the Miners and the Raiders, and the website just says they're over. I don't have a score. So the standings as they sit, and again, they're not accurate because they don't have some final scores there, but as it sits, the Raiders are 3-0. The Mounties are 2-1. The Miners are 1-2. It says the Blizzards haven't played a game, but they played 2 games. I think they're 1-1. If that holds up. And again, it says the SWAT are 0-3, but it says they may have won a game, so they could be 1-3. So that's where we sit in Alberta. And then over in BC, they started their Junior A season last Saturday. Late attempt to come back by the Delta Islanders, but they lost to the Langley Thunder 7-6 last Sunday. This New Westminster Salmon Bellies defeated Nanaimo Timbermen 8-5. Then this past week on Tuesday, the Salmon Bellies defeated the Delta Islanders 9-5. Then on Wednesday, an exciting finish actually. The Burnaby Lakers and the Langley Thunder. Thunder come back from being down by 2. And Braden Longacre scores the game winner with 9 minutes and 44 seconds left in the third period to give the Thunder an 8-7 win. Then on Thursday, you saw the Victoria Shamrocks. They picked up a 12-6 win over Nanaimo. Friday, you saw the first action with Coquitlam. The Adnax defeated the Port Coquitlam Saints 7-3. Then yesterday, a ton of games. 9-5 win for Langley over Nanaimo. The Adnax won 13-7 over Victoria. And Burnaby defeated the Delta Islanders 12-9. And then just today, I'm just going to see if we have an updated score. We have a game in progress right now. And actually, it just became a final. Oh, boy. Port Coquitlam with a 12-1 win over the Nanaimo Timbermen.
Wow.
So looking at the standings, see if they have an updated standings here as well with the final score. So we have Coquitlam Adnax and Langley Thunder at the top of the standings at 3-0. New Westminster Salmon Bellies at 2-0. The Victoria Shamrocks 2-1. Burnaby Lakers 1-1. The Port Coquitlam Saints 1-3. The Delta Islanders are 0-3, and then the Nanaimo Timbermen are 0-4.
All right. Kind of feel like a George Carlin routine, man. And a partial score, Stanford 29.
Oh,
that's a mouthful.
if I
Cheers.
lots of locks happening out west here.
It's all over the place. Lots of luck. We're in the middle of it all now.
Yeah.
Everything is coming up. Roses. OSL, Ontario Series Lacrosse. We had a full slate of 4 games this weekend. We start off over in Ennismore in Lakefield Arena in Lakefield, Ontario. The Six Nations Rivermen traveled east to face the James gang, and Six Nations exploded out of the gates. They never looked back, overwhelming the Ennismore James gang with a relentless first period attack in an 11-7 victory. Thunder Heroes sparked the offense, and the Rivermen kept coming in waves as Kevin Owen Hill, Devin Bombury, Mitch Van Every, Connor Kostiuk, and Lucas Beaver all found the back of the net in the opening frame. Six Nations controlled possession, pushed the pace in transition, and capitalized on all their opportunities to build a commanding 7-1 lead after 20 minutes before extending it to 10-2 through 2 periods. Ennismore showed tremendous character, though. In the third period, they refused to go quietly. Robbie McGrain, Colton McNutt, Evan Taylor, and Mason Tardif helped ignite a spirited comeback effort that briefly cut the deficit and created some momentum for the James gang. However, each push was met with an answer from the Rivermen. Ross Hill, Thunder Hill delivering key goals to halt any rally. Despite a late surge from Ennismore, Six Nations wound up overcoming everything, and they wound up winning 11-7. We move on to Saturday, and, well, a strong second half from the North Stars bring them to the winner's circle over the Collingwood Cruise. The Owen Sound North Stars used a dominant special teams performance, strong middle frame to pull away from the Collingwood Cruise for an 8-4 victory. After a tightly contested opening period that ended in a 2-2 draw, the game remained up for grabs as Collingwood briefly grabbed the lead in the second. Owen Sound responded immediately, however, finding another gear offensively and taking control with 3 unanswered goals late in the period to build a 6-3 advantage heading into the final 20. North Stars slammed the door early in the third, striking twice on the power play, just 44 seconds apart, as Cam Sanderson and Cohen Jennings extended the lead and took the momentum away from Collingwood for good. Graham Bergsman provided one final push for the Cruise, but from there, both defenses tightened up. Goaltenders made big saves on both ends, and the final score was a convincing 8-4 win for Owen Sound. In fact, I had Callum Lever-Pereira, the goalie for Owen Sound, as the number 3 star in this game. He, obviously, stood on his head. If I was in Georgia, that's what it would happen. And we go over and we go to the Belleville Kodiaks and the Brooklyn Merchants over in Belleville. And, well, this one was a slobber knocker, but the Merchants have definitely put across a message to the rest of the league. They literally have beat them 22-7. It was quite the heat. So we go into the one game that was this afternoon. Brooklyn played again, and they beat Collingwood today. So good weekend for Brooklyn. Looking at the standings, we have Brooklyn and Six Nations tied 8 points apiece. Owen Sound, 3 wins and a loss. Hamilton 1-1. Collingwood 0-3. Ennismore 0-3. Belleville 0-4. Upcoming this week, we got 4 games again. Saturday, we had Hamilton versus Collingwood. Ennismore versus Six Nations. Sunday, we have Brooklyn against Collingwood. And Six Nation plays again, facing Owen Sound. Why don't we head on over to some WLA, guys?
Sure. Yeah, I guess season started on Wednesday with Nanaimo Timbermen and the Langley Thunder in a barn burner. And it didn't seem like that to start this game. So Langley got on the board first with Nathaniel Koznikov getting on the board first. Dante Kulas scored on the power play, and it's 2-0 Thunder after the first period. John Phillips scores a shorthanded goal late in the second period, and it is 3-0 Langley after 2 periods. So, heading into the third, the Timbermen score 4 straight to take a 4-3 lead. Alex Lemieux and Billy Vanchuk score to give Langley the lead back 5-4. Then Noah Manning kind of takes over this game. He scores with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left to tie the game. And then with 17 seconds left, Ryan Sheridan finds Manning for the game winner, and Nanaimo takes it 6-5. Just kind of looking at the stats here. Noah Manning had 2 goals, 2 assists. Pair of goals by Jeremy Wedrick. In goal for Nanaimo was Colby Bowman. He stopped 36 of 41 shots. In the win for the Thunder, you had a goal and assist from Kozevnikov. Phillips also had a goal and an assist, but kind of production dropped off after that in a low-scoring game. Keegan Okino got the start for Langley, and he got pelted. He made 46 saves off of 52 shots. Then heading into Thursday, I believe it is. Yes, Thursday night. We had New Westminster. They came away with a 13-6 win over the Burnaby Lakers. And really, this was all kind of New West right from the beginning. After first period, it was 3-1 for New West. And they break out with a 9-goal second period, and it was pretty much over from there. You had Noah Armitage, 7.9, 2 goals, 5 assists. Lucas Nielsen had 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points. In goal for New Westminster was Ashton LeClaire, stopped 33 of 39 shots. Over for the Lakers, Jake Young, a goal and 3 assists. Andrew Cowan, a goal and 2 assists. And Gigan Milanichuk started the game and was replaced by Mark Ripberger partway through this game as well. Did I think kind of the matchup some people were waiting for here on Friday? Yes, we have the Coquitlam Madnax and Victoria Shamrocks. I think a couple teams that are expected to be on the top of the standings. And interesting enough, the goaltending duel, you would think, between Adam Bland and Christian Del Bianco. It was actually Bland who came out on top as the Victoria Shamrocks won 9-4. And really a back and forth game But then the Shamrocks scored a 6-goal run between the second and third periods to kind of come away with this one. For the Shamrocks, Zach Mann's goal and 2 assists, Patrick Dodd's goal and 2 assists, 2 goals and an assist for Cole Pickup. He had a goal and 2 assists from Brendan Jameson. Keenan Block had a pair of assists, as well as Denton McDonald and Davis McCauley. In goal for Victoria, like I said, was Adam Bland, stopped 30 of 34 shots. And kind of what we talked about in previous years with Coquitlam, Christian Del Bianco saw 59 shots. I mean, again, where's the defense with the Adnax? Again, it seemed like they were really relying on Del Bianco and not much in the way of scoring, honestly. Denton Armstrong had a pair of assists. They got goals from Cook Carter, Sean Kriwakin, and Lazio Henning, and Ben Coghill, by the looks of it, in that one. As I'll turn it over to Mike for the Berards and Lakers.
Yeah. I got the opposite of a barn burner. I got a shootout.
A bit of both of them, guys.
Yeah, the Lakers head home after their loss to New West for their home opener and get swallowed up by the Berards, losing 20-12. Reigning MVP Marcus Claridge, 6 goals and 4 assists on the night. New acquisition Tyler Pace, 4 goals and 6 assists. He came over in a trade for New West. Peyton Cormier, 3 goals, 3 assists for the Berards. Garrett Winter had 2 goals and 2 assists. Declan Fitzpatrick, a goal and 4 assists. Maple Ridge led 6-3 after 1. Then the second quarter got nuts with the Berards scoring 10 goals to Burnaby's 7 to really start to blow the game open. Brendan Humphrey and Jack Cask splitting time in net for Maple Ridge, making a combined 30 saves. On the Lakers side, you had Ryan Favaro with a hat trick and 2 assists. Ethan M. Lott, who actually just came over in a trade from Maple Ridge to Burnaby. 2 goals, 3 assists. Jake Young had a pair of goals and an assist. Austin Dukamen, 5 assists for the Lakers. And then Keegan Milenichuk and Mark Rittberger split time in net for Burnaby, making a combined 35 saves. Burnaby's already 0-2 on the year.
And then I guess final game of the weekend, and Christian Del Bianco did Christian Del Bianco-like things as the Coquitlam Adnax defeated the New Westminster Salmon Bellies 10-2. So yes, Christian Del Bianco stopped 38 of 40, only allowed 2 goals. There you have it. Yeah, and actually 19 seconds into this game, Noah Armitage gave the Bellies the lead. But Denton Armstrong and Remo Shinato then gave Coquitlam a 2-1 lead. Lucas Nielsen scored the second goal for New Westminster with 4 minutes and 7 seconds left in the period. And then it was just all Adnax after that. Let's looking at the stats here. You had Thomas Rempel, 2 goals, 2 assists. Adam Noakes, a goal and 2 assists. Goals from Bobby Kidd III, James Ray, Jalen Chaster, Denton Armstrong, Matthew Delmonico, Shinato, like we mentioned. Turpin had an empty net goal. As I mentioned, Del Bianco, 38 of 40. For New Westminster, like I said, only 2 goals. Marcus Nielsen actually had a goal and an assist. Will McKay was in both goals with 2 assists. And the goal from Noah Armitage, and in goal for the Salmon Bellies was Ashton LeClaire. And he's Stopped 43 of 52 shots in the loss.
Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Upcoming this week, we got any big games, Shawn?
Let's see what we got here. I guess we have one game tonight. Yeah, which would be Langley and Maple Ridge, which I believe has not started yet. Then the coming weeks, we have Victoria and Langley on Wednesday, New Westminster and Nanaimo on Thursday, Langley and Victoria, kind of a home and home series on Friday. Saturday, Maple Ridge and Nanaimo could be an interesting one. You got Burnaby and the Adenacks on Saturday, and then Sunday, Coquitlam and Maple Ridge to end off next weekend.
Alrighty. Well, NSL started this week, guys. And it was the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, and the Chiefs, and the Chiefs. Chiefs played 3 times this week. We had 5 games this week. Interesting scheduling. Now, you would think that that would tire them out. Nah. They opened up like they never missed a beat, and they had Owen Sound in the bread and cheese game. And, 12-0. 12-0. Doug Jamieson with the shutout. There's still a bunch of players that hadn't made it back yet from the final the day before from the NLL. However, Graham Kostiuk was in the lineup. Cyborg was in the lineup for Six Nations less than 24 hours after playing the finals. So he is a machine. He is a machine. Yeah. And literally, although Owen Sound battled hard through the opening frame, the relentless attack, and that comes up a lot, of Six Nations eventually broke through. Wave after wave of offensive pressure saw the Chiefs spread the scoring around. Andrew Q, Ryan Smith, Dane Smith, Dawson Theed, all finding back the net for a 4-0 lead after 1. Six Nations took complete control in the second, never looked back, and they cruised to a dominant 12-0 victory. There's not a whole lot you can say. Owen Sound tried. They really did try, and they just were not able to mount much, if any, offense throughout the night. Like, when they were there was somebody checking their sticks, and their shots were going wide. They didn't chart shots, but I don't think they had many that made the net. That's how much of a kicking this was. We head on over to Thursday, and we had a pair of games on Thursday. One was Brampton hosting Brooklyn. And, earlier in the week, Chase Scanlon signed with Brooklyn. Well, I believe he had 5 goals in this game. The Brooklyn Lacrosse Club used a dominant second period to pull away from Brampton in a convincing 13-7 victory. After a tightly contested opening frame that saw the teams trade power play goals, Brooklyn carried a narrow 3-2 lead into the intermission, thanks to tallies from Lucas Littlejohn, Dan Lindner. Remember him? Yep.
Yeah.
He's back. And Chase Scanlon. Brampton stayed within striking distance early behind strong offensive efforts from Coltrane Tyson and Mike Triolo. But the transition game started to take over. The game completely shifted in the second period as Brooklyn erupted for 7 goals, led by a sensational performance from Chase Scanlon, who scored 4 times in the second. Landon Sinfield added a pair of goals, while Holden Garland and Dan Lindner chipped in offensively as Brooklyn attacked, overwhelming Excelsior's defense. This game was over at that point. 13-7 was your final. Six Nations went the next day and played in same day and played in Peterborough. Now you would think that maybe, just maybe, they needed a bit of a break. Nope. They put together a dominant effort to defeat the Lakers 11-6. And in fact, the score is not indicative of the game. The score is closer than the game was. Again, the Chiefs continue to roll. They're up 5-1 after 1. In the second, Chris Cloutier struck twice in the opening minutes to help extend that advantage. Despite power play goals from Justin Sykes and Rob Hellier, they kept them in striking distance. 8-4 after 2. Six Nations just shut the door altogether in the third. Kluche completed another big night with a shorthanded marker less than a minute into the frame before Andrew Q buried his second of the game to restore full control. Dane Smith added a power play goal and finished with another outstanding multi-point performance as the Chiefs continued to spread the offense throughout the lineup. Carter Page and Matt Gilroy had late goals for Peterborough, but the Lakers could never recover. It was an 11-6 victory for Six Nations. Fast forward on to this evening. And, well, Six Nations. Imagine that. They went into Coburg. Now, we weren't sure what kind of Coburg team would be there. And, in fact, I'm amazed they could move at all since a lot of these guys played Senior B the night before. And it was 5-5 after 1. That's right. You heard me right. 5-5 after 1. Very entertaining period. Lane Ruska was exceptional in net for Coburg. Warren Hill made his first start for Six Nations. Then, of course, Six Nations just wore them down. And then by midway through the second period, there really wasn't much in the way of defense, and these guys were sucking fumes because it's just relentless. Josh Byrne had 5 goals on the night. Shane Jackson had a huge night also. A couple of goals, I think 7 assists on the night. Dane Smith, another big night as well. But the shots on goal in this game were 74-38 in favor of Six Nations.
Wow.
74-38. Final score was 19-9 in favor of Six Nations. Lane Ruska was my third star of the game. Josh Byrne with 5 goals. Shane Jackson with 9 points. Lane Ruska with 56 saves on the night. And you know with Six Nations, they're not easy saves. And he made some incredible saves throughout this game. So, look out. Six Nations is rolling, and they sent full lineup to Coburg. Nobody's taking a night off. They are making an emphatic statement. It's going to be a little more interesting, I think, this week when everybody gets to play because starting tomorrow, you have Owen Sound at Oakville. You have Brooklyn at Six Nations. That's going to be a big game because Brooklyn has got a pretty good team now. Proud has put together a pretty strong team, and I'm pretty sure that the guys that didn't play last week, like the Mark Matthews and the Chris Bouchis, will be playing this week. Coburg is into Brooklyn on Wednesday. Brampton and Peterborough face off against one another on Thursday. Saturday, Peterborough heads to Owen Sound for the last game of the week. So it'll be more interesting to look at the standings after we have a full week of everybody playing than that right now. But man, Six Nations looks primed and ready to four-peat. And this is only a weekend, but they've already played a quarter of their damn games. How about that for scheduling? Half the league hasn't played a game. Six Nations got 3 under their belt already. They're all big W's. Think about it now. 23, 42 goals to 6.
Yeah, who's going to be able to beat Six Nations?
15, 42 to 15 is their thing right now. And if you stop Q, you got Jackson, Smith, Byrne. If you stop them, you still got Thompson. You still got it's wild. It's wild. We thought we were looking at all-star teams before. This is without some of the guys in there because Lyle Thompson isn't there right now. And this is just, it's like watching the Harlem Globetrotters at times. It started looking like that on Monday in the third period. It looked like the Harlem Globetrotters in a warm-up. You know, and then, of course, you can work on every single play in your repertoire because you have no pressure to, win that tight 1-goal game Now, I'm sure that somewhere along the line, they're going to have a lot tighter games. Oakville should give them a run. Brooklyn should give them a run. I'm sure Peterborough will be stronger the next time they face. But for right now, man, do they ever look powerful. It's funny, when it was announced that I was the media director for MSL, there was Darius Kilgore. I'll give you the last line of your season. 6 Nations and a 4-peat. You thought it was tongue in cheek, but really it's kind of only half tongue in cheek and mostly telling you the truth.
Like I said, half not joking, you can beat 6 Nations.
Who's going to beat them? That's my question. Who's going to beat them? And how? And how are you going to do it 4 games out of 7? Okay, so you get a night where they're off and you're on. Okay. Still need 3 more.
Yeah.
Question to you. Is there anybody in the West as dominant?
As dominant, I
not seeing, but that,
so,
like
no,
just
I mean,
going through this
yet.
past week, like a lot of teams are still missing players. Like,
Yep.
So it's hard to say this early, but yeah, I don't see anyone that with a lineup like that. Like
That deep.
Yeah,
It's wild. It's wild, and you take a look at that lineup, and where do you Chris didn't even mention Chris Kluche earlier, huh? Matt Marinier, Matt Hossack, Tim Edwards, David Peterkin. He's playing in both Senior B and Senior A, and man, he had a couple of goals tonight. Kason Darbo, Ryan Smith, Nongam Thompson, Josh Byrne, Tyler Biles, Shane Jackson, Andrew Q, Dawson Theed, Ian McKay, Travis Longboat, Graham Hossack, Dane Smith, Tyson Bell. And then you go to Doug Jamieson and Warren Hill in net. Where's the weak link?
yeah, and we think Victoria's kind of front runner. I mean, we think Victoria's the front runner. You look at their lineup; they do have the Patrick Dodds, I believe Zach Manses, but then like they started Adam Bland in goal,
Right?
Like against an all-star team like that. Yeah, I'm just kind of going through Victoria's lineup. Yeah, like that Zach Mans, Patrick Dodds, Cole Pickup, Jacob Hickey, Hamer Jackson. But they don't have the Chris Wardle, but they don't have that lineup that 6 Nations has.
No.
As we sit right now, at least.
I remember Kurt Stires just lost the NLL Cup. You think he wants to lose the Man Cup too?
No. Hell no.
No, can't see that happening. I just in my crystal Man Cup ball. I can't see that. Can't see that happening. But hey, it is what it is. That's just an incredible lineup. And I look at some of the other things, and I was talking with you guys. Dante Koulos is out west, not with Brampton this year. He's out with Langley, and he's going to be a big addition there. But he's also planned so that the NLL sees him, so he can get off a practice roster and be on a team, because he's on the Firewolves practice squad. So it's time for him to get to the next level, and he deserves it. So he certainly doesn't deserve to play in the ALL. But we'll wait and we'll see. But boy, it's an interesting week, with everything rolling now. And just the best is yet to come, because next week add some PLL into there. Hey, Mike, you and we didn't lose a game in PLL this week.
Just remind you guys who went 0-4 or whatever it was.
I think I got 2-2 in both weeks. So
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, next week we do have a another sort of full slate. It will be in Baltimore, so it is Maryland Whipsnakes homecoming. Redwoods have a bye. Friday night, it will have the Cannons playing the Whipsnakes, and then there will be a WLL game later. Inaugural games,
Nice.
regular season games for the California Palms and the Maryland Charm. And then on Saturday, 3 PLL games. Atlas Outlaws at 1 o'clock. Archers against Whipsnakes at 5:30, and then Chaos at Water Dogs at 8 o'clock. And the Atlas Outlaws game, championship rematch, is on ABC.
Nice.
So,
Don't forget Disney Plus. You can catch these games there too.
yeah, I don't think this week's games are on Disney Plus. I'll have to check that though.
Okay.
That second week they had all the games on Disney Plus, but I don't know if that's a constant. So check the PLL website; they will note on the ticker there
Very good.
where you can watch.
All right, and if you check out all the websites here for MSL and OSL, everything is up to date, so you can catch everything you need there, and you can get all your news from us as well, and all across all the time. Remember, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, X, we are on Instagram, we're on Thread, we're on YouTube, as well as on www.streampunkentertainment.com. So make sure you check back a few times a day, because the news is always changing, and we got all kinds of news for you this week. We got games every single day of the week. We have big championship game for NCAA tomorrow. So there'll be all kinds of things going on. So make sure that you stay here. We are your Costco of lacrosse. We are your one-stop shop for everything you need lacrosse. And it's our privilege and our pleasure to get it to you as quick and as accurate as we humanly can. With that, guys, we're just coming up upon an hour. Summer a whole lot different than
Yeah.
And this brings us to final words. And I'll give it to you, Shawn. Final word to you.
Yeah, already busy summer. As Mike says in his thing there, WLA is back, which is so much fun. And, I know Gary brings up, how cheap it is to go to these, WLA and MSL games. But you know what? It's also cheap to go to these junior A, junior B teams. And, even, like the U11s and U13s, just to, really get out there, especially this summer, and, support that minor lacrosse in your local area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because where else are you going to see NLL kind of play for $10 a game, $15 a game, $5 a game? Nothing if you're wearing your OLA or your jersey as a youth. Plus, they're much more accessible than during NLL season. You can see them getting a cup of coffee, getting a drink. You can see them in a parking lot. You can see them all over the place.
And then, support the kids. Hey, support the grassroots as well. I guess is my message. Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, like I say, we need people in there. Mind you, I'll tell you what, Flow TV, Flow Sports is going great. Had a few technical issues in the first game, but I watched a few of these games on Flow. Plus, every game is archived, so if you've missed it, you can go back there and watch it. No brainer in my eyes. No brainer. If you are a lacrosse nut like I am, you'd be watching it. And you've got Stamper doing the games. You got Dalladay doing the games. You got top-notch NLL announcers doing these games. So you're going to have yourself a lot of fun. It was fun listening to Stamper and Jim Wasson today doing a Coburg Six Nations game. They did a great job. It's good seeing everybody yesterday also. I have a meeting with these guys. I'm hoping to get them to look at OSL as well. Let's get more games for everybody on the same time. Plus, if you are into all kinds of other sports, Flow Sports has got everything in there. I mean, everything. If you want high school wrestling, if you want college wrestling, if you want NASCAR, if you want other things, you want cricket. Everything's in there. So you can watch sports 24/7 on there, on the same fee, same code. Once you're in, you're in. So let's give it a shot. All you got to do is go on to the WSL website. On the toolbar, it says how to watch. Go there, click the picture. That's it. And you were on the Flow site. You were well on your way to watching every MSL game all summer long. Anyways, Mike, last words to you.
PLL picks up after a week break, and every team is 1-1, so it'll be interesting to see who can get ahead here and who's gonna have a bit of a hill to climb.
Right. I am looking forward to watching Oakville play tomorrow. They got Peterborough tomorrow. I am looking forward to watching this game. I want to see what is going on. I want to see Ty English in there. And I want to see if Sam is playing here or is he going over to PLL. That's going to be interesting. Let alone what the team looks like, because I heard hardly anything out of them in the offseason. So very, very curious. Landon Kell's in it, obviously, because Nick Rose signed again with Peterborough. So interesting. I'm also curious to see Brooklyn when they're playing a little bit more of a tighter competition, which we'll have again this week. So it's going to be interesting. And my question again, as always, is who is going to knock off Six Nations, or do they go 18-0? It didn't happen last year. So let's see. Can they? Is there someone out there to be the David to the Goliath? And, with the team that Gavin Proud has put together in Brooklyn, is it enough to bring back the glory days, bring back the crowd, and bring back the rivalry with Peterborough, and bring back the rivalry with Six Nations? Do they make it up to the big three? Then things get very interesting in the summer. They almost knocked off Peterborough last year. In fact, they should have. But can they do it this year? And can we see a different final for a change? And then interesting with the Man Cup here in the East. Yeah, starts looking and going, where am I driving to this year? But anyways, it's going to be a great week. Going to be interesting as all it can be. And again, we want to thank you for being with us and staying with us. And we'll have all kinds of news of the Rock Party as well, and a few other things going on during the week. And stick with us. And that should do us for this week. Gosh, it's early, man. I feel like we're just getting warmed up. And we've had some of these 2-hour plus shows when we're discussing all these major issues. The NLL has hardly any issues. Well, before we go, shall we deal with the elephant in the room? Evan Schemenauer's article the other day lists a couple of franchise in trouble. We know, of course, of Philadelphia, and we know that the league, the commissioner, is working hard to try and put out yet another fire, which is all he's done since he's been in office, is putting out fires. But Ottawa, we didn't really take into account, but we know they don't have great attendance. Is it a 3 strikes you're out kind of deal? Or is it, can we salvage them there? Or are they going to be moving somewhere? Mike, what do you think?
I mean, I'd like to hope they hold on. We're seeing improvement year upon year, from the days in Long Island. Tough to say, I think, whether anything would have changed, let's say, had they won that game against Halifax at the end of the regular season and gotten into the playoffs.
Right. My question is this, though. Didn't the Ottawa Senators, weren't they supposed to be hand in hand to help them build their season ticket base? Where'd they go? It is their building. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
Now, being in Canada, and I know a lot of you people who aren't living in Ontario have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, is a 25-minute drive from Ottawa. Should it be a big deal? No, I'm driving an hour to get to a Hamilton to watch a Toronto Rock game. I'm driving 45 minutes the other way to watch an Oshawa Firewolves game. So should a 25-minute thing be something that stops you? No, but it stops a walk-up crowd. Oshawa is right in downtown Oshawa, and Hamilton's right in downtown Hamilton, and there is a such thing as a walk-up crowd. In Canada, if you haven't planned to go to this game, you're not going to Canada. There's no reason to. So that's the big thing there, is you don't have a walk-up crowd. My question is...
Yeah, I mean, but I was going to say, hey, Dave, thanks for tuning in.
Yes, and a big shout out to Delco Lady Outlaws with their 10-0 big win. Championship tomorrow. Go Delco Outlaws. Yes.
So I was going to compare the Ottawa situation with the distance and the lack of a walk-up crowd. It's really not that much different than Georgia. Georgia does not play in downtown Atlanta. They play in Gwinnett County, which is about a half hour away.
Right.
So it's kind of a similar issue.
Good.
I guess my thing too is, I mean, since the move, we're in what, year 2, 3 in Ottawa?
I'm year 2, I believe.
Year 2? Well, 2 or 3. Either way, I mean,
2 full
I'm
seasons.
wondering, is that too quick to pull the plug?
Not if you're already hemorrhaging as a hedge fund owner that had him in Long Island for 3 years or 4 years. But my question is also, does it have to be at the Canadian Tire Center, which seats 19,000 people? Can we not find a 10,000 seat arena somewhere in the Ottawa boundaries that we can put them there, that they can have a stadium that looks pretty much full, have an ambiance like a Saskatchewan, like what Toronto's done now, like what Rochester's doing, like what Halifax has done, and have it build that way, where it starts becoming a must-have ticket. Because if you have 8,000-9,000 tickets available, well, there's no need to rush around. You might go, you might not go. If there's only, look at Oshawa, it's seated at 5,800. They're sold out every game. Yeah, it's only 5,800, but if you don't get your tickets early, you're not getting your tickets. So they know their crowd already.
Yeah, and didn't Vegas move to a smaller?
Yeah, they moved to Henderson.
Yeah. And you know what?
Henderson, and now they're
a solid
place is looking pretty packed.
They're a solid franchise now.
So,
and take a look at what Halifax did. Just take a look at them in the finals.
And you're going back to your thing with the Ottawa Senators too, Gary. I mean, that's the issue of a team that's going in an NHL rink, but not owned by the NHL team. Even though, yes, they said they had this nice partnership, that's all great and good. But once they lose interest, that NLL team is just left out to dry, right? You saw it happen in Edmonton. That's exactly why the Rush had to move.
We saw it in Toronto when Bill Waters was part of the ownership group. Bill Waters was also part of the Leafs, hence Maple Leaf Gardens, and then, of course, Air Canada Centre turning into Scotiabank. Once Jamie took over, that's when the rent went through the roof. And after enough years of, losing money, it's time to move. Luckily, it's close enough that we still can call it home. But, I wondered, there has to be an arena somewhere in the Ottawa boundaries. Pretty big city. It's Canada's capital. Surely, amongst all the political jargon in there, there's one rink that seats between 5,000 and 10,000. Somewhere in there that can actually house this team. And this team can make money. And people can walk up to it. And it can be all la 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 la, right? Because
sorry, Gary, quick Google search. TD Place, the home of the Ottawa 67s, is a 10,000 seat arena.
Bingo. Would be exactly like the Firewolves, being they're in the same league as the Oshawa Generals. Same idea. Hello, Ottawa. Just a little small phone call. Have we looked at this to move it there instead of going and hemorrhaging money over here? And then, doing all that. Then Edmonton can take Philadelphia, and that'll be the end of that, and we don't have to worry about it.
But it seems those arenas work nice because you're talking about an OHL arena with Ottawa 67s, the Rush in a WHL arena. It just seems to work quite well for NLL teams.
Works has all the amenities you need for your fan base. You can set up concessions, you can set up merch, you can set up everything that you need to do. It doesn't have to look like an NHL because Colorado can do it, Calgary can do it, Buffalo can do it. Now that Buffalo is not in the winning ways, let's see if Buffalo is still pulling in 19,000. Because I tend to remember the beginning of the century, over 2000, 2002, they weren't winning, and they were pretty sparse. And you can take a look at all across all the time at some of the Bandits games from the early 2000s and see an awful lot of empty chairs while they were playing and not winning. It's a long way from what it is now and a long way from what it was in the 90s when they were winning at the Memorial Odd. So everything goes in circles.
I will counter that a little bit, Gary, because the teams you mentioned, who's their ownership group?
Well, they're NHL teams, right?
NHL teams, yeah.
Well, Vancouver's got an NHL ownership too. They're starting to get onto that thing. They're in around the 10,000 mark.
Yeah. So the NHL owned teams can do it, sure, yeah.
But you would also look at, you might need somebody who has really deep pockets who are looking for tax breaks. Or they don't want to make money. They want to have the fun of the team, but they want to also have the tax break. That's the kind of guys you need at this stage. Because we want to lose a bit of money, so it takes it off of what their main businesses are making money on. That's where this thing thrives.
As long as it's not the only thing they're looking for.
Well, no, they have to be sports fans too.
Yeah.
Actually, we've gone through ownership like that, where it was in vogue to have a team, and after a couple of years, it got boring, and they went somewhere else, and the team folded. Or you get really bad deals. I give you the Boston Blazers. I give you almost the Toronto Rock with almost the same deal.
Well, I was about to have a coughing fit and mention Greg Bibb in Panther City, but
we don't even have to go that far, really. But I always thought, maybe not make all the seats white, so that we can show that there's nobody in them. You're kind of like the LA thing for that fight. Remember, where you have all the colored things to show off all the empty seats. Not really a good idea. Do what the WCW did. Make it dark. Nobody can see it. Just put big spotlights on the rink. Oh, by the way, guys, I got my family honor, pride, tradition towel. That's right, the FHP towel. Good for we start talking about the NLL and losing franchises and.
Yeah,
so it's just funny you talk about that. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, that's really ultimately the one thing I think we can't have happen or see happen is for both Philadelphia and Ottawa to fold, and we have some sort of double dispersal draft.
Let alone, what does that do for our junior program? Basically, it stalls it because there will not be a position for any of them for years to come, which will kill junior lacrosse because why am I doing this if I can't make it to the next level?
And that was actually kind of my next point because I know we talk on here about all the talent and that we need expansion for all this talent, but there's that catch-22, right? Is where can you expand when you're already having struggling franchises?
That's a big thing too, yeah. Again, how did the NHL do it? Because they weren't always this popular. In the 70s, they weren't this popular. Guys weren't making any money. 60s, they weren't making any money. You know, you're talking about places like Toronto or Montreal that always filled their arenas. But then you had places like Colorado, like Kansas City, like Hartford, like a number of other places which, you know, you couldn't draw flies if you lined the place with honey. Yeah. It's like watching WHA games. You know, the more interesting of the two leagues. Always a lot more fights in those leagues. You know, Slapshot was based on the WHA and the ECHL and a few other things. But it was a much more interesting league. But you couldn't draw anybody. So how do you break it out? Like I said, when we talked to Sakavich a couple of years ago, he was talking as the NHL in the 70s, mid-70s, just before the explosion. We have TV. We don't have, you know, all the games, but we have TV. And we're just before the explosion. Is the Olympics the explosion? Do we have an exit strategy? Do we have stability? Do we have bad news coming out where that overshoots what we're trying to do? Because the last thing you want in a year and a half towards when you have the biggest stage you're ever going to have is to have all this bad news go back and forth. This team folds, that team doesn't do it, this one doesn't do it. And you can't. You got to have your best foot forward. So I'm hoping. Go ahead.
It just goes back to lacrosse can't get out of lacrosse's own way again, right? And I totally agree with you with the Olympics. Just the only thing that I go back and forth with the Olympics is, again, you got two versions of the sport. You three now with the set with sevens. But is that going to attract more field fans? Is it going to attract more box fans? If box and field could work together, that'd be, you know, a wonderful utopia world. But it doesn't.
Is Lacrosse Canada going to put all their eggs into sixes? And that's going to be the thing that we're all going to be working at now. Because if it's going to be the Olympic stage and that's what's going to be garnering all the attention, why are they putting the money and effort into field or box when this is what we're going to be putting forth in universal competitions? As the other countries have something that they can start from scratch as we start from scratch, is this where it's going to go? And this conversation came up with a number of lacrosse guys out in Prague. Is this going to be the wave of the future, or do we still have box and still have field as components to this moving around 5 years from now? Where does the money go? Where do they see it as advertising, where the most eyes are going to get at it, where they can market it the most? Because what's the biggest problem? The marketing.
Yep. I'll just play devil's advocate. Sorry, Gary. I just want to play devil's advocate a little bit on that one, because the problem with sixes is, especially up here in Canada, is winter.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it box. But
yeah.
I
get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, Gary. I totally agree with you. But that's just a logistical issue with sixes.
I heard yesterday that Coburg is trying to bring, you know, it, like what Firewolf did, and have that kind of game day presence, right? Well, the difference is that Oshawa filled their stadium. You know, granted, it's only 6,000, but they filled it. So you have that energy in there of a full house. In Coburg, you brought in a dance team. I feel sorry for them in the meat locker. You're dancing in, you know, short skirts, and, you know, my God, it's cold in there. You're going to have to be jumping around because it's cold. Every time they show the kids in the stands, man, they're wearing sweatshirts, hoodies. It's not that cold around there. It's cold in there. But they want to have that game day thing. Well, that comes down to the team marketing to get people in. I don't know if Sunday at 6 p.m. is really the greatest time in the summertime. You got people trying to get home from their cottages. You got people trying to get home from being a day at the beach or whatever, especially in Coburg, where you got beaches and you got all that other stuff. It is cottage country. they're going to go at 6 o'clock in the evening when they could be having dinner with their families to watch a game for 2 hours. Then they're going to go back and they got to get ready for work the next day. I don't think it's the best time myself. Like you set yourself up to lose, don't you? Me personally, of course, Thursday's always been Lakers night. Brampton's always at Thursday, and everybody knows that in the area. Peterborough, the whole town stops. Well, half the town now. It wasn't full the other night. Oakville on a Monday night. That makes sense. Not much else to do on a Monday night, and if you want to go and watch some lacrosse, hey, there it is. Six Nations on a Tuesday. Well, all the people who are going to be in there are going to be in there. Wednesday in Brooklyn. Again, it's in a pretty central spot where there's other things to do as well, and the water's right there and everything else. So it is a really nice spot. And you can get people in, and it's a big complex of a lot of different things in there. But in Coburg, I don't know. I haven't been to the Owen Sound one, so I can't tell you about that. They do have turf now, so look good. Look good. All the pictures I've seen, it looks downright beautiful. But I don't know too much about the scape up there, and I hope to be up there this summer to see a game or two up there. But Coburg, I don't know if that's the best place at the best time for it. Like, I love it up there. I like driving there. I like the whole thing about there. But I just don't know if that's the right time. Because even when I finish the game and I'm headed back to Toronto, which is an hour and some odd away, I'm in cottage country traffic back, which is a drag. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is there. Do they make them earlier? Does that, you'd stop somebody from, are you going to get somebody away from the beach at 1 o'clock in the afternoon for a game? Hope it rains that day. Not really sure.
I mean, I was going to suggest Sunday at 1 o'clock just because you could beat that traffic potentially.
Yep, you can.
Yeah.
But if it's a nice day and it's beach, are you going to come in? Are we going to be able to grab that crowd in?
Yeah.
Mind you, if you're burning in the morning, maybe going into a nice cool arena. I mean, that'd be the right thing to do. Have a few beers and then go back to the beach and have your barbecue. That could be a good idea. Mike, you might be onto something here. Put barbecues around the arena. Be a big pit. Anyways, I want to thank everybody for being with us again. It was a fantastic week. Summer ball is in full swing. I am so happy about it. I love summer ball. I have said that a bazillion times. I love summer ball. It's rougher. It's more grinding. And we have more games going all through the weeks. So, awesome. And we are back at our regular time at 8 p.m. So remember to catch up with us during the week. See you at some of the arenas. And until then, I'm going to say, keep your sticks high. Keep your spirits higher. And until we meet again next week, have a great week, everybody. Summer ball is back.